and welcome back to the Dandelion Diaries. As I stated in one of my previous ink explorations, I managed to get samples of all of the Sailor Manyo ink collection some time ago, I think back in April maybe, and I asked if you guys would want to see a swatch of every single one of them and what they would look like. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I did kind of put them in a rainbow fashion, so they're a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, at least to me. But I want to go over some supplies really quick just so you kind of know what I'm using. This is a 𝗦𝘃𝗫𝗁𝐵𝐵𝐺 A5 notebook with the Tomoe River paper. This is a little stamping block, which is what I'm going to use to make all the little swatches. I have a 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝑚ori brass nib dip pen with the Sakura wood handle that I got from Galen Leather. I have a referral for them down below if you're interested for 5% off. I have a little glass dropper and then a jar of water over here, and then this is an old t-shirt that I've used for many an ink swatch. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. The very first one is the Sailor Manyo Yamabuki. And this is, I think, their yellow, possibly orange of the group. I think it's a little bit more orange to me, but maybe this is what the yellow is that they were going for. So Yamabuki is what I would consider like a sunshine orange color. It is very bright. It doesn't have any of the chroma shading like some of the others in this line, but it is still a very beautiful color. And it does write very well like most of the Sailor inks. Then we have Sailor Manyo Sakura, and this one is one of the chroma shaders. So Sakura is like a pink flower color, which is probably why they named it Sakura. But it has this chroma shade to orange, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is a little light, so if you aren't a big fan of the lighter colored inks, this one may not be for you. But it is such an interesting shader that I think it would be worth picking up a sample just so you can test it out and see for yourself. The next sample I have is the Sailor Manyo Abeki, and this one I think is one of my favorites. It is such a beautiful, almost magenta-ish color, and it has a little bit of a sheen to it in my swatches before. We'll see today, but in my swatches before it had a little bit of a minor green sheen to it, so we'll see if this one continues to hold that standard. Next we have Sailor Manyo Kuzu, and I think this is more of like a reddish purple color. I don't know what color they were intending for this one when they produced it, but it is very interesting to look at, like most of these inks. It is not as similar as Ume. Like Ume is more red. This is definitely a little bit more of like a burnt purple or maybe like a purple red, but you let me know what you think in the comments. Next we have Sailor Manyo Ume, and this one is a red to me. It is a darker red, but it is still quite beautiful. It does have a little bit of a shade to it, as you'll see once all of these dry down, and I think that's what makes it really interesting for the color that it is. The next sample is Sailor Manyo Chigaya, and I actually swatched this in my black ink exploration video. And it is very much a black, but it has some shading to it as well. It's not as dark of a black as I would say write with, a black ink to write with every single day. But it is a very nice writer, but it does have a little bit of a different property than just your standard black. Next we have Sailor Manyo Shirakashi, and this is kind of like a greenish, a green black maybe, or maybe even a red black. This one's definitely one of the interesting inks in the group. But I think it's more red or more green depending on which light hits it, but it's still very nice to write with, and it is a very interesting color. When I originally was introduced to the Sailor Manyo inks, I really just wanted to see all of the talk and the fun about the different shading they had, and I wasn't ready to buy a full bottle of any single one because I wanted to see what all of them looked like. And so this one was one of those that I was really excited for, and that was Sailor Manyo Ukikusa. And if you've been following my ink explorations or watched any of my fountain pen videos, you will know that I absolutely am a green ink fanatic. I love green ink. I love writing with green ink. I love writing with brown ink, any of the earthy tones really, but green is probably by far the most I write with because I love the color, and then also they're so interesting. Like I've never found a green that's close enough to another green, and I think that's really special. But with Ukikusa, I was so happy to see when I swatched it that it was a more medium green and it had some shading, and it would be a really pleasant writing experience to fill up a whole page in a journal with this. The next sample of the Sailor Manyo inks that I have is Yomogi, and I love the name of this one, I guess because it reminds me of like the Mario Kart character, but I know it's not the same name. Anyways, this is more of a teal or a blue teal. It's definitely more blue than it is green, but it is a very pretty color like everything else in this line. Honestly, if you were to pick one from this video, I hope you pick one of the blues because they are stunning and there are so many of them to choose from. The next ink I have here is Sailor Manyo Koke, which I also swatched in my teals and turquoises video. It definitely depends on the swatch and depends on the day, but I swear this is the most chameleon ink out of the group because sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's teal. I think it just can't decide what color it wants to be, but the base of this is definitely a light blue color. So whenever you write with it, you may get something else depending on how it shades, but I guess that's one of the beautiful qualities of the Manyo inks is that they do have that chroma shading. The next sample is, wrong way, sorry, Sailor Manyo 𝗷𝘆𝗆. And 𝗷𝘆𝗆 is probably one of the most popular inks from this collection, and it is that baby blue color, but it shades pink and it shades purple and it shades kind of blue, and it's again one of those chameleons. You don't really know what you're gonna get when you swatch it down on the page, but I think this is probably the most sold. It might be close to Fuji, I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if I can look it up when we get to the dry portion of this and see which one actually is more sought after, 𝗷𝗆 or Fuji. 𝗷𝗆 is definitely a lighter ink, so be aware of that if you aren't a fan of the lighter ink range. It does dry a little bit lighter than it does in the swatch, especially on a writing sample. Like if you did a full page, it is a pretty light ink. Next in our blue section is Sailor Manyo Konagi, and I think I also included this in one of my ink explorations. It might have been the bright blues. I'll link it up in the cards for you guys. But this one is gorgeous. It's like this royal bright blue, electric blue color, and it's just, I don't know, I like blue ink too. I guess blues and greens and browns and all the colors of the rainbow. But as you can see with the swatch for Konagi, it is electric. It is stunning and bright. And writing with this, it makes the page just like super bright and pretty is the best way I can put it, especially when you have a full page of it. It takes up quite a lot of your eye space because of how bright it is. Next we have Sailor Manyo Sumire or Sumire, and again this was part of my discoveries or explorations, and it is again a beautiful blue. Like I said, if you pick anything from this line, their blues are stunning and very well behaved. With the Sumire or Sumire, I'm not really sure on pronunciation. It is very much a cerulean blue color to me. It's like the ocean, what's it called? The dusk on the ocean, I think, or something like that, where it's like the dark blue color, but it's not quite dark enough to be blue. I don't know if I'm making sense, so I'm just going to stop talking now. Next, also in kind of the blue range, is Sailor Manyo Nadeshiko, and this is another one of their very popular colors. It is kind of a periwinkle, light purpley blue color, and since it's going to be right next to 𝗷𝗆, I'm really interested to see how they compare, just because I feel like some of their lighter blues and lighter purples are very, very similar, especially when it comes to big swatches. Writing-wise, they're a little bit different, but they are very similar. But Nadeshiko is supposed to be kind of like that light lavendery purple color where it's a little bit blue leaning, and it definitely has that. But it also has a little bit of a green shade to it, which I think is really, really interesting. The next sample is Sailor Manyo Kikyou, which I believe is almost like a blue-black color. And I'm not really sure why I put this one in this order, but we're going with it. And it is, I think I had this one in one of my videos too. I really like these inks, I'm not gonna lie. But this one I would say is much more just standard. It doesn't have anything super exciting about it. Other than that, it's part of the Manyo collection, but it doesn't have any kind of, chroma shading or any kind of really cool sheen or anything like that. It is just a standard kind of blue-black color that would honestly be really good to write with in like a workplace setting or even just everyday writing. Next we have Sailor Manyo Kakitsubarā, which again is kind of like a dark blue-blackish color, but it definitely has more of a purple lean to it. So I would probably call this one like an aubergine or an eggplant almost, but it's not quite that dark of a purple. Moving on, we have Sailor Manyo Niko-Yagani, or Ganagi. Again, pronunciation of my Japanese is very poor at best, so please don't take anything I say seriously. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But this is definitely the purple of the group, but it does have a little of a blue chroma shade to it, which I think is really pretty. When it's next to Nadeshiko, they're very similar, so if you were to get one over the other, that would probably be the only difference, is that they're almost the same color. Nadeshiko is definitely a little bit darker, and Niko-Yanagi is more of a lilac-y purple color versus the lavender. Next we have Sailor Manyo Fuji, which is, like I said, either 𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗏's the best or this one's the best according to ratings at least. But this one is so, like, I don't know, this is like the purpliest purple of the group, and it is definitely purple. And it has chroma shading again like Nadeshiko and the Niko-Yanagi and then the 𝗂𝗂𝗃. It has very similar chroma shading to all of those. Swatching it right next to Niko-Yanagi, they look almost identical, but when they dry down in shade, you will see that the Fuji is a little bit darker and almost has a little bit more of a gray undertone to it as well. The second to last one we have is Sailor Manyo Hinoki, and I think this is their version of a blue-gray. They had two grays in this line, and it's the last two I have to swatch, but Hinoki is more blue to me than it is gray, but the last one is more green to me than it is gray, so I don't know if they were even intending to have a true gray in this collection. And the last of the Sailor Manyo line is Sailor Manyo Ayame, and this is, like I said, more of a green-gray color, but it does also have the chroma shading like the 4 next to it, in that it has more of a green to purple shade. So with all of these lined up next to each other, they look very similar. So if you were able to get one over the other, I think you'd be able to see that. But with writing sample wise, they do all lean a little bit more towards what their base color is. So like Niko-Yanagi is more of that kind of pinky, like lilac purple. Fuji is more of that more purple. Hinoki is more of that gray color. And then Ayame actually is a little bit lighter than Hinoki. But I will let all of these dry down really quick here, and then I will zoom you guys in and give you close-ups once they are completely dry. Alright, so we have let them dry for a good, 20-ish minutes. They don't take too long to dry. They're actually pretty fast. But we will go over these all up close so you can see them in all of their glory. So starting with the first 4 here, we have the Yamabuki, the Sakura, the Abeki, and then also the Kuzu. You can see a sheen on all of them except for the Sakura. The Yamabuki has kind of a almost golden sheen to it. It's very pretty. The Sakura has that pink to orange chroma shading. Abeki has the green sheen, and so does Kuzu. And I'll try to do a little bit of each one so you can see it a little bit more up close too. The second row here, we have the Ukikusa, the Shirakashi, the Chigaya, and the Ume. Again, all of them have a little bit of sheen. So the Ukikusa has a little bit of a darker green sheen and that beautiful shading. Love it. The Shirakashi has almost a olivey black-green color, but it also has the red sheen. Like I said, I don't know if it's more red or green on camera. You'll have to let me know, but it's definitely a little bit more green in person. In the Chigaya, you have that black sheen, pretty minimal, and then the Ume is that green sheen again, much more red than the Kuzu. Then we moved on into more of our blue section. We have Yomogi, Koke, 𝗂𝗃, and Konagi. Again, all of the blues are so well done on this line. The Yomogi has a little bit of that red sheen. The Koke and 𝗬𝗏 have the chroma shading, and then the Konagi has that red sheen again as well. They're nothing too similar to each other. These are all usually, in my experience, swatching and writing with, pretty unique, especially if you look at the writing underneath them. They all dry down a little bit different. Then we have the second row of blue/purples. We have the 𝗂𝗃𝗄𝗏, Kikyou, Nadeshiko, and Sumire, or Sumire. The 𝗂𝗃𝗄𝗏 has a little bit of a purple black shade to it and a red sheen. The Kikyou has that darker, almost blue-black shade to it with a red sheen. Nadeshiko has a little bit of the chroma shading to more of a pinky color versus a blue. And then the Sumire has, again, a little bit of that red sheen with the more cerulean blue color. And then our last row being the purple gray section, we have 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗎𝗍𝗍, Fuji, Hinoki, and 𝗖𝗵𝗵. And these ones, they're so close to each other. I feel like if you got one bottle over the other, it wouldn't make too much of a difference. The Fuji is slightly darker than the 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗎𝗍𝗍, and then same with 𝗖𝗵𝗵 Hinoki. Hinoki is slightly darker than 𝗖𝗵𝗵. I will say 𝗖𝗵𝗵 is a little bit more green leaning in person than it is picking up on camera, and for Fuji it is a little bit more pink than the 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗎𝗍𝗍. Alright, so that is all of the Sailor Manyo ink collection. I actually really love how this looks with them all on one page, and I'm really happy I was able to get samples of every single one of them. If I were to pick some to get full bottles of, you'd probably have to chain me down because I'd want all of them, but I think I would probably go with 𝗬𝗏, probably 𝗖𝗵𝗵, Shirakashi, Ukikusa. I mean, Konagi's really pretty, Yomogi's really pretty. Again, I would want to pick all of them just because they are all so beautiful. It just depends on what you have in your collection that you're willing to get another full bottle of. But let me know which one you liked more in the comments. Also, if you like this kind of video where I swatched everything from a certain collection, let me know. I do have a couple other Sailor ink collections in the full sample sizes. I believe I have the 𝗪𝗃𝗧𝗧 selections, and then also the, I think it's 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗃. It's the one that starts with a Y. There's 14 in one of them, and I think 20 in the other one as well. But let me know if you'd want to see more collections like this in the future. If you're interested in any of the other ink swatches I have done, I will leave the playlist down below. And I also have an Instagram. I will leave my handle on the screen if you're interested in even more content from me. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. And if you made it this far, leave a comment of a yellow heart on the bottom because I'd love to see who makes it to the very end of my videos. But again, thanks, and I will see you in the next one.